Hello everyone and welcome to Beginner's Code. In today's episode we are going to be looking at how we can use private and protected attributes when replicating real-world objects using object-oriented programming. So the final pillar of object-oriented programming is encapsulation, and encapsulation in Python is actually used by using some underscores. Now, in other programming languages, they actually come built in with keywords for protected and private, and also public. However, with Python, as I said, we use underscores. Now, encapsulation is used to instantiate our objects, but giving the object's attributes a class of either private or public or protected, and this makes it a lot harder for them to change the attributes, whether it's accidentally or whether it's intended. It just makes it a lot more tight, stricter, and it makes sure that it's a lot more secure. So to start with, let's just create a person class. So we'll just say class person, and we'll create the initializing method. This will take in self, a name, and an age. And now what we can do here is just say self dot underscore underscore name is equal to name. And now the two underscores means that it is private, so we cannot actually change this. The next is underscore age, and that will be assigned to the value of age. So we are just referencing the new variable or the self variable with a underscore or two underscores. And now what we can do is just create our first object or first instantiation of this person class. So we'll say person1 is equal to person, and then in here we'll just say Chris and 26. And then here what we can do is if I was to print person1, and I say dot underscore age, and now if I save this and then run it, so if I run the file, we get the value of 26 back, and that's because it's protected, so we can still actually access it, we just can't explicitly change it. However, if I was to change this to underscore underscore name, and now if I run the file, we get an error, and that's because it doesn't have, well, it thinks that the person object has no attribute of underscore underscore name. And while it doesn't, or while it does, it doesn't because we are using the two underscores, which makes it protected. So now what would happen if you wanted to change one of these underscores? Well, we can do it two different ways. So I will leave this bit of code here, and the first thing that we can do is we can just say person1 dot underscore person underscore underscore name, and then we can just assign that equal to say Tony. And then if I was to say print person1 dot underscore person underscore underscore name, and then if I run this, we now have Tony printed out. And that's because what we're doing here is we're using a protected method or a protected way of changing the value. So we are using an underscore, then the class name, and then a double underscore, and then the attribute name. So we are accessing this private key or this private keyword by using this underscore person class. So the next thing that we can do is we can actually completely get rid of this, and we can use we can change the value of Chris in a completely different way, and this way will be much more noticeable when you come across it. It requires a getter and a setter. So the getter is a method that will get the information, and a setter is a method that will set new information. And this works well with private, public, protected. So it doesn't matter what way you're using them, we can use getters and setters for all. So if I use the class of person again, and then use another initializing method, so self, name, and age. And now what we'll do is we'll do self.name is equal to name, and self.age is equal to age. So we have name being protected and age being, name being private and age being protected. So now what we can do is create two methods. So we'll use the getter first. So I'm going to call it getName, and this is literally a method that will just get the name. So we'll pass in self, and then we're just going to print an F string that says person's name is, and then we'll use self dot underscore name. And now we can use set name. So this is a second method. The first is to get the name, the second is to set the name. And then what we're going to do is we'll just reassign self dot underscore name to be equal to name. And now because we're passing in a new value for the name, we actually want to make sure that we are passing it in as a parameter as well. So now if I was to come down here and instantiate the object, so person1 is equal to person, and then we'll pass in Chris and 26 again. And now here, if I was to say person1.get underscore name, and we call the method, and then if I was to run this, we get person's name is Chris, and that's because we have an F string printed out, so we are accessing this value still. And then we can also change the value of Chris to something else. So if I say set name, and then in here we pass in a parameter, so I'll just say beginner's code. And then if I was to, after, just say person1.getName again. And then now if I run it, we get person's name is Chris, and then person's name is beginner's code. And that's because we are getting the name, we are then changing the name, and then we are getting the name again. So there are a lot of very, very useful things that we can use the protected and private underscores for. It's just getting used to how to use them and where to use them, but they can come in very, very handy. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this has helped your understanding of how we can use encapsulation to create objects that can only be changed using specific methods. If you liked what we've been through and you want to learn more, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel to keep up to date. In the coming weeks, I will be releasing a free 30 days of Python guide to help you with your journey, so stay tuned to get yours. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.